way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Damn it, I had to mute the whole time. Man, I rolled right off the tongue and everything. Hey, what's up, guys? You're watching, this is the No Way Jose podcast. You're watching the Morning Dump, and I'm Jose Galison. Screwed that all up, so that's great. Let me know if I'm sounding good, looking good, all that. Everything looks good on my end, so just want to make sure it is on yours. We've definitely had times that I thought I was all good and went for a good while without realizing I wasn't good, so that's what you guys are here for. But yeah, we should be good now that I unmuted. What the fuck? I just got a thing saying now it's having trouble connecting to X. That's bizarre. I don't think I've ever seen that. Weird. Oh, geez. I don't think I've ever seen the stream go down on X. That's bizarre. Let me see if I got something for that. Yeah, I don't. All right. Well, it's saying for some reason the StreamYard's having issues on X, but specifically on mine. So for those who are X listeners, if that's something you do particularly like, it's still up on Austin's Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So that's bizarre. I've never seen that happen. Although it's saying I'm still getting viewers of this. I don't fucking know. All right. Anyways, let's keep going. I know you guys don't want to hear about the ins and outs of that. I almost didn't even do a morning dump today, just because I actually do have a lot to do today. I have a kitty to deliver to a client. I'm going to bring the family to the beach and stuff. But man, we had a wild day yesterday. Also, kind of just needed to follow up a little bit more on the Epstein stuff. Because, man, that shit's fucked up. Yeah, this will be a shorter one. It's probably the 45 minutes to an hour range. At least that's the attempt here. So just a little forewarning for those who like the longer ones, or if you like the shorter ones. So, but before we get into any actual stuff of the day, let's get into paying some bills. I want to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by Nado Shave Co. Not even paying bills. Obviously, that's a joke. This is actually a great product. I really do dig it. I literally just shaved with it before that. I edged up all my shit this morning. See under my neck? I forgot I have the ad thing. I'll show you in a minute. You can see under my neck. It's nice and trimmed. But all nice and edged up, which I just did. But let's just run through this one real quick. I do want to remind you guys, these things really are superior to the huge, what most people have, those multi-blade cartridges like the Fusion multi-blade bullshit. I mean, I know a lot of us are like, oh, we go to the barber and you get like the single blade where they do that cool shit. And that's always really cool. Well, this is kind of the same thing, except for it's a perfect combination of the two. It's a safety razor, but it's just a single blade. It gives you a very smooth shave, and it's also way better for your skin. So there's that. It's superior to that. It's way cheaper as well. I mean, if you add up how much you spend on those multi-blade nonsense, I mean, those are what, like at least $30 per like 3 to 5 blade thing, and it's $75 for an entire year for Nado Shave Co. And even then, that's probably gonna last you a lot longer. It really depends on how frequently you shave. If you shave on the daily, you're gonna want to consider the Quarter Shave Club. That puts you at about 25 cents per replacement blade. then on top of all of that, this is a COVID mandate refusing company. This company was born out of refusing the COVID mandate. Old Nadeau was in the military, got the old boot when they wanted to get the pokey poke, and he took up old Nadeau to help fill in the blanks of where the money's going away. So this is entrepreneurship from someone who has values similar to your own. And last but not least, you can get 10% off. Use Jose at checkout. Highly recommend this product. I really dig it. And with that, let's check in with you guys. I see Doctori in the chat. See Ethan Rumley saying hello, fellow dumpies. Our Doctori said suptards. Vlad said last night I had a dream I shit my pants. You should check your pants, dude. Ethan saying good. I'm good. Curtis is here. Hinchy, what's up? It's Weekend Crew. Weekend crews. It's always cool seeing the Weekend Crew. It seems to be a different group of people. You should be weirdly more on the weekend. So. But we got some big stuff today, guys. Let's get into it. I don't know. There's no pussyfooting around. I feel like anyone who's living on planet Earth. Actually, I say that, but I literally just was talking to my wife about this a minute ago, and she was like, "What? What happened? Who? What?" Okay, well, we're yeah. So that's what I'm living with, which that's not bad. I mean, I'm great. I prefer my loved ones to be completely clueless about politics. That's what I prefer. I don't want to have these conversations with them. I see Lance in the chat. Say good morning, sir. Good morning. Yes. So what I'm referring to is the showdown in the Oval Office we had just yesterday between Zelensky, what's his face, Vance, and Trump. It was quite glorious, and it's quite the juxtaposition to the day prior in relation to the big old Epstein files, which we'll talk about that a little bit today too. So we have I think we have a good show for you. But I did find it funny when I was talking to my wife this morning. I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to knock out a quick stream. I'm like, it's like, no, I wasn't even gonna do it today because we got a bunch of stuff. But man, we got some big news. It's like big news. I was like, yeah, you see any about the Ukraine stuff? And you're like, what? And he's like, there's a war in Ukraine. Yeah, like she was kind of like recollecting there's a war in Ukraine. Which is great. I love her. That's what's great about that's how you want your wife to be. I don't want her to have any political knowledge whatsoever. That's a preferable way to go, and that's fine. That's I think that more people should be like that. You either need to be one extreme or the other. You need to be super into it or not into it at all, and don't vote. My wife doesn't vote. I've convinced her of that. Like, why waste your fucking time? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Don't fucking vote, unless aside from maybe if I tell you what to do. That's about it. Go do this vote. And even then, I think voting's gay. But that's enough rambling. Let's get into the actual what was going on. You guys will be just blown away by the things that were said in this thing. I don't know if maybe some of you guys didn't see the full version or see different clips, but this I think is quite the clip here. Let's go ahead and watch it.
This guy wears very tight green shirts. That's it. You need to find a different color. There's lots of colors. Jesus. He looks like he's wearing fucking pajamas. He's so goddamn small. I feel like I should burp him. You're a dinky guy. I'm sure you wear a kid-size husky sweatshirt. You look like a little kid dressed up as a G.I. Joe. For real. Nobody take this guy to Disneyland. It would be a waste of money because he won't be tall enough to ride shit. Maybe he can ride the gay-ass bumper cars with all the other little dorks his size. He has a 4% approval rating. More people support the WNBA than this dumbass preteen-looking motherfucker. J.D. Vance just bitch-slapped him, and he still won't shut up. I might have to take my belt off and spank his little...
All right, obviously that's not it. You guys caught that, but it was funny. I couldn't help myself. That one was pretty good. What's up, Mike? Good morning. Let's fucking go. Yes, that's right. Let's fucking go. Here we are. David Chor saying, "Good morning, Mr. G. It's a fantastic morning today. Wouldn't you agree?" I would agree. I'm up. And I'm going to the beach today. Gonna take a little morning drive, hang out with the family, go eat some food on the sun while the sun sets. Go eat food at a restaurant while the sun sets. It's a good day. It's gonna be a good day. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. But I think Change Repeat in here. What's up? Bug fights. What is up? All right, let's get into some actual. Obviously, that was a joke. Jokey joke. But let's actually get into it. There is a full one you guys can find out there. It's probably, I want to say it's like the 6-minute range of where they really, and even then I don't know if that's like actually like the full talk. But I don't know. It seems the impression I got. I watched the full one yesterday to kind of get a feeling for what was going on. I think I want to say it was like 6 to 9 minutes or something like that. It's something. But it looked like almost as if Zelensky really misunderstood the situation here. Really didn't understand the cards in his hand, I guess, because it seemed he tried to be the one who evoked, essentially a forcing of changing of positions in some sort in a public light. I think he was trying to play power games here and like, I'm going to manipulate you in the public to where now you're saying X, Y, and Z. Now you're going to have this perception, and it did not fly. I don't think he was expecting the pushback he got. I mean, he has, if you think about, which I guess it kind of makes sense if from his perspective, you've seen how he's been treated around the world, and particularly in the United States. I mean, last time Biden was, when he was rolled through, did his world tour, and he came through us while Biden was in here, we had like the fucking flag in Congress, and like, it was, all the bunch of politicians with the flag on their shirt. It was kind of gross, really. It was borderline to the level of when Netanyahu rolls in every year. Not quite there, but almost. And funny enough, it was, actually it seemed to be, that's one of the few examples where people actually find it to be, there were some people who found it to be improper, whereas, I don't know, it's just a usual thing when Zelensky rolls through. But here we go. That's enough introduction for now. Let's just go ahead and play it and see what you got. This is like probably like the most concise little area that's of importance, I guess, within this little tiff they had. But anyways, yes, just to start out, this is Zelensky trying to get us to seem to change, public position in some way in relation to the war, and doesn't go the way he plans. Let's go ahead and watch.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems.
I do want to point out, I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually like Vance in a lot of ways, so there's a great stuff, but I could not watch this and not be like, I think he's gay. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm completely off, but I have a feeling this guy has sucked Peter Thiel's dick at least once. I don't know. Seems a little light in the loafers, but whatever. I'm fine with it. He's whatever. He took that little like, gay sass and he applied it to being able to talk shit to fucking world leaders. I'm here for it. If we can, maybe we should have more homos in office, homos on our team. But I don't know. It's the closeted part that's like a little gay, especially since the gayness is probably for Peter Thiel. But let's keep it going.
Problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President.
Like, doesn't he strike you as a theater kid? Am I the only one seeing it? I mean, and not like a theater kid that probably also did sports. Like I don't know, like the cool gay kid. You know what I mean? Like, but he's still got a little bit sass. Like he code switches around his homo buddies. Like, that's the feeling I get. But I might be wrong. You tell me.
Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful
I will answer.
to come to the Oval Office of the United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
This is like peak power games. I mean, I know a lot of people. I want to go ahead and throw it out there. A lot of people threw out that this is theater. And I don't know. I guess I'm open to the idea, but and trust me, I'm someone who's said a lot of things are theater. Like I think all this Epstein shit is a big old fucking put on that you're being played, we're all being played. But this feels genuine. I mean, sure. I mean, I know I just said Vance is a theater kid, so and I guess Trump is a reality star. So I guess sure, maybe these guys have the chops to pull off this sort of acting thing. And then I guess then we have Zelensky. He's like a comedian. I wouldn't be surprised if he also has some acting chops. So I don't know. I guess it's theoretically possible, but just that's not the impression I get. So this seems legit to me. But I mean, maybe they planned something legit. Maybe they're like, oh shit, that Epstein thing was bad. I mean, we were already planning on fucking reaming Zelensky, so let's make it a little bit more public. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it was just exploiting something they already knew they were going to dress him down to begin with. So the idea that this is just completely fake, completely fake, I don't necessarily buy that. I struggle to buy this is fake. This seems legit to me, and I'm here for it. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still irate about the Epstein stuff, but I mean, I can chew and chew gum and walk at the same time. This is fucking cool. Epstein stuff is super not fucking cool, and I think heads should roll for that. This is cool. That's not cool. So I do two things at the same time. Like one thing, worst thing ever. One thing's cool as shit. Yes, and I do want to back. I think Pam Bondi should fucking resign, and I think it's pathetic that we haven't seen some sort. I mean, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I just haven't seen it. It hasn't shown up in my algorithm, my feed, whatever. I've been the only one. I put out a tweet that's Pam Bondi should resign, and every single one of those influencers / commentators, whatever you want to call them, that were there at that dog and pony show should be shit canned and replaced with actual journalists, because this is pathetic. Like, we're grown-ups here. Like, I get it. I'm not saying put in CBS, CNN, whatever, but put in Gray Zone, put in Headline USA, put in, independent journalists like Radix Verum. There's plenty of options. You don't need these fucking, it's like, to me, I mean, they're not quite on this level, but it's like TikTok influencers. It's like, these are not the people that should be, disseminating information from the highest office. I mean, yes, sure, they can on their own, but like, if you're going to appoint people that you are like, these are the arbiters through which we will pass on our messages, I don't fucking want Twitter influencers. Go fuck yourself. I'm a grown-up. This is fucking gay. Like, I know it's Jack Posobiec. I know a lot of people say Cerno is a journo, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I don't know. I'm sorry. If these dudes writing articles about sucking off trannies, it's not really peak journalism to me. I feel disrespected by having these people be the ones that you're like, oh, we're going to do a dog and pony show for the Epstein release, and these are the people who do it. No, fuck you. All right, let's keep going with this.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember
exactly
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
I'm not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives of
anymore.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think
gambling
about?
with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
are you
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
All right, pretty cool. I do want to just throw you. I watched the full one, like I said yesterday. At the end, I did find it particularly interesting because I think you caught at the beginning. Vance made some sort of like it's inappropriate to be litigating this in front of the media, in front of the American people. Obviously, referencing that I believe it was Zelensky that kind of evoked this discussion in the first place. So he goes, okay, all right, he points that out that like you're litigating this from the public media, and it goes on for a good, like I said, 6+ minutes. And then at the end, when Trump's kind of like putting a button on it, he did points out, he's like, hey, I'm kind of glad, like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing that, like, because I think Vance, there's one of them said something like, this is inappropriate, you're doing this again later, and then Trump then goes something along the lines of like, I'm actually happy this happened because I think the American people should see this, blah 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 blah. And so I thought that was particularly cool. So kudos to them for that. I can point out when they do cool shit. This is like super duper cool. As I was like kind of, I think there's messages to be taken from this from those who have like a similar perspective to me. I would assume if you're watching the show. I think the big thing here to take away is obviously, one, give these guys kudos for dressing down Ukraine, but also while doing that, point out like, hey, where's this energy when fucking Netanyahu rolls through and fucking brings his dirty laundry for the fucking White House to use, like shit like that, which apparently that's like a thing that's been offered for a long time for foreign leaders, and I think if I remember correctly, a while back, he's the only one who does that. He completely treats everyone like their bitch. Everyone comes in, standing ovations over and over again, fucking, oh, world's greatest ally. Meanwhile, he generally is if you really listen to the things he says, he's pretty fucking disrespectful of the United States. So, yeah. I do want to point, I didn't share one more thing on this. There was one clip that I wish I'd bookmarked, but it was them talking shit about him not wearing a suit, which is pretty fucking funny. But I did want to kind of point out on that side. I agree with, in a certain sense, the shit talking people give Zelensky about not wearing a suit. I think, actually, I have a video. Now I'm thinking about it, I do actually have a video that's kind of, I believe, alludes to it. But there's actually two videos now that I think about it. There's one, here's from my buddy Clint. We'll play that. Actually, let me check in the chat real quick, and then we'll play this next video where I think he teases them a little about his suit. Let me see. I'm checking the chat. Curtis says, do you think the goal was to embarrass Zelensky, was like putting him in his place? I don't know if it was the goal. I mean, I'd have to rewatch that long video and just really see who evoked this conversation to begin with. I think it was Zelensky, that or they're gaslighting him to make him to basically, convince Zelensky that he was the one to do it. So, I think obviously once he went there, it was put in place. I think they just had they likely probably just had a firm position. I think Zelensky misinterpreted the situation, came in, tried to sort of publicly, strong arm them into one way or another, thinking he'd be able to embarrass them somehow by being like, "Oh, look at you, fucking, you're supporting Russia," or whatever, some dumb shit like that, and they immediately like, and completely, pushed back, double down and push back, and he's like, "Oh shit." I don't think he really thought about that he would get that sort of pushback. So I don't know if his goal was, but I think once he went there, they're like, "Okay, bitch, sure." So. Let me see. It's Saturday. It is Saturday, James. Where have they placed the teleprompters? Lance said. I don't know. I know a lot of people think this is especially given the timing that it's theater, but I don't know. I think it just might be legit. JMS says, I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm shitting are the best I ever had. Yeah, good reference. All right, let's watch this video, and I think he talks a little shit about the suit. So, because I don't know, while this is a stupid topic to talk about his suit, I agree. I agree with the shit to some extent. The shit talking, I agree and I don't agree. Like for say for example Fetterman, a lot of people point out Fetterman. He never wears suits in Congress or whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if people disrespect the office. But what I don't like about the suit thing is that it's a gay little costume. That's what it is. Like this is a G.I. Joe costume. This is I'm the wartime president costume. This is I'm fucking directing generals and I'm weaving in and out of the front lines and I'm doing this and no you're not. You're sitting in your fucking Capitol likely or somewhere else perfectly safe while it's being handled by real men. So that's what you're doing. So it's just that it's a gay costume. I don't care. I couldn't give a shit if he was wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt rolling into here. I mean, I guess it'd be a little bit. Actually, I take that back a little bit. It would be a little bit annoying. I would be a little. I guess I feel a little disrespectful. Just given the context of that, this is a guy who's fleeced us of millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I guess even then, put on a suit. I guess the context of who he is and what he's doing, put on a suit. If you're gonna try to fuck us, I'm sorry, you need to dress up for it. Ain't nobody wearing flip flops and fucking shitty sweatpants that's going to bang us. That ain't, you gotta fucking dress up. And even then, I don't think you gotta bang us, but at least dress up if you're gonna make that attempt. But at the same time, like somebody like a Fetterman who's just like a congressman or whatever who wants to wear sweatpants, which I don't give a shit. If anything, I want that whole place to become a joke. I want Congress to be nothing but Fettermans. That's my utopia. When everyone goes, oh, look at these fucking chuds. I don't really give a shit about anything they have to say. They're a bunch of fucking unserious goofballs, and we move on with our lives. That would be utopia. One day we'll get there. Fucking start electing retards, guys. But anyways. In this context, yes, very gross, very gay, very deceptive. So I don't like it. So let's see Trump teasing him about it. He says you're all dressed up.
He's all dressed up today.
President Trump, what's your guys' line of your approval, sir? President Trump, you got a copy. President Trump, you got a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was something. That was yeah, it was that's great. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I'm checking in the chat. Sexy glasses and omnibular schisms. Yeah, sorry guys. You get post shower, didn't have time to do my hair or put in my contacts or anything. I was rushing this morning. I woke up kind of late, and so I wanted to get to you guys at 10, and I also want to get it done quick because I do have places to be. So I'm a little bit of a time crunch. Not a super time crunch, but I had to get going. GMS says Biden's Congress flying Ukraine flag over the U.S. flags in America was weird. It sure was weird. All right, let's get into the next one. That was funny. Now, here is Zelensky. I believe this had to have been shortly after. Yeah, it was 2:22 yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yep, yesterday's the 28th. So he then goes, this is, I just want to point this out because it does feel like bitch shit. This feels like, Vance made a point, be like, oh, say sorry. And now here he is, tail tucked. Thank you, America. Thank you. This is Vladimir Zelensky, if I wasn't clear on that. Thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that. So, I mean, while it is like, I guess, nice, sort of, if you forget everything else about this guy, but it's like, given the context that, like, you're like, did you even say thank you? Did you even say thank you? And now he has to go, thank you. I mean, it just feels like bitch shit. I don't know, it's kind of the idea when someone tells you to do something, like, even if you should do it, you're like, now you're like, fuck you, I don't want to do it. Well, he did it. You little bitch. I don't know, I just find this all so delicious. All right, let's see if you guys have anything else to say. This is a cold-fueled crash out, is what Grug says. Someone says, love the thumbnail. So, yeah, oh, you remember to say thank you. Yeah, a Coke-filled crash out. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if Z-Man's, throwing the old blow up his nose, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not thinking that. I didn't get that impression. Take it from someone who's done a lot of coke in his life. Well, not a lot. I've done a sizable amount of coke, not a lot. I never was like a cokehead or anything, but I've at least double digits, maybe get like 8 to 12, somewhere in that realm. I've done it enough. But yeah, that guy was not on coke. None of those guys are on coke. I mean, if they are, they're really good at covering it. Because I feel like once you've done certain drugs, you just have like a sixth sense where you can look at someone and be like, that guy's on that drug. Especially if you have any sort of like, I was at one point actually a pillhead. I did have a pill problem when I was like 17. So I am like amazingly good at picking out opiates. I can just look in someone's eyes and go, or just notice their mannerisms, like, that dude's on opiates. And like 99 times out of 100, I'm fucking right. So, yeah, that guy's not on coke. I mean, I think he's on coke sometimes. I didn't get the coke impression there, but I could be entirely wrong. Now this is from one of my followers who, which I'll give him a follow back since I'm even covering the show, so why not? That's polite. It says MAGA worships Donald Trump's tough talk to Zelensky while ignoring the big, wet, sloppy, loving, deep throat BJ he just gave to Mike Johnson and John Thune. And I'm going to follow this along because I thought this was interesting. He brought up something that, I guess something to be aware of on the flip side of like, well, I don't know, maybe there is some shit going on. It's weird, though, he put this below a different post, though. I mean, this is my post where I said AG Pam Bondi should resign. And then all of those people, all the influencers should be fired and replaced with journalists if they're even to exist. I don't even think they should be. I don't even think these people, there should be a role. Whatever that was, that wasn't needed. They got, the Epstein stuff got released like an hour after that. The non-story Epstein stuff got released anyway. So it was completely pointless. It was completely just a dog and pony show. But if there must be a dog and pony show, give me somebody actual of substance. If you're going to give someone like, I guess like an hour lead or whatever on a story, give someone with substance, please. Not Jack Posobiec, not Liz Wheeler or fucking Cernovich, that fucking Presler homo, whoever the fuck he is, that weird fucking tall fucking Nephilim looking fuck, whoever he is. These are all people that like, these are nobodies. That, like in the realm of like actual serious dissemination of information, I don't think they should be taken seriously. I mean, I don't know. Especially since they're all clearly extremely partisan individuals. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. I'm getting sidetracked by that. Yeah, someone pointed out Matt Taibbi, Greenwald, people like that would be ideal. But all right, let's follow this down the rabbit hole. So here's Eric saying again, while MAGA is celebrating Donald Trump tucking tough to a midget dictator who's begging for money, they're ignoring Trump getting down on his knees and filleting Congress, who wants to increase spending by about 6 times what Doge has saved so far. And now this brings us to a Justin Amash post, which says, to illustrate how unserious Republicans are about cutting spending, President Trump just endorsed adopting a continuing resolution through September. This means that Joe Biden's spending levels and priorities would be extended through the end of the fiscal year. It also means that Congress would vote on one spending bill that combines all the departments rather than 12 separate bills that would allow for more calibrated changes. GOP leaders have hinted at slightly modifying the CR with some of the Doge cuts, but even if that were to happen, those items are minuscule relative to the overall bill, so fundamentally, we'd be getting a full fiscal year of Biden spending. People will continue to make excuses for what's happening, but those excuses will not change the end result. Congress and the White House are pursuing the status quo on spending. It's not surprising to those of us who know how bad Washington is, but still appalling. Whether they're Democrats or Republicans, nearly all of them, with rare exceptions like Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, simply do not care about the fiscal and economic health of the country. The fix is simple. As a general matter, total expenditures should be limited to the average annual revenue collected in the 3 prior years. This can be implemented gradually, but it has to be implemented. The problem is there's no current effort at the top to do so, even though the president and congressional leaders have tremendous leverage to make it happen. So as I've kind of alluded to, it's becoming more and more clear that me and Austin were kind of correct with this initial fervor of the Doge stuff. And I want to be very clear. I think it's super cool, the Doge stuff. But the problem is this gives a forward perception to the public that look at all the slashing we're doing. No, the fuck you aren't. It was just a couple days ago we covered on this show how they were doing they passed $100 billion spending bill for the government, for the military, an additional $100 billion, which is I believe, I want to say the Doge cuts at that, when I checked the Doge savings of the day, and I want to say they were like 60 billion, so almost twice of what Doge had already saved, and then they immediately just, all the savings that they got from Doge just completely gone with one military spending bill, with one one military budget for the year, just gone, all of it just. I mean, yeah, sure, I guess you could say, well, the alternative was if we were to do the play the counter narrative, the counter, if we went through a different time zone or timeline, what would happen? Sure, maybe under Biden we'd get the $100 billion military increase in spending, and we wouldn't get any of the cuts. So sure, it'd be worse, but it's either way, it's still you're still going in the wrong direction. Still way going in the wrong direction. This isn't this idea that this is the golden age and that we're turning things around and we're making America great again. And no, you're still careening off the cliff. You are still heading towards the cliff. You're still fucking this isn't the savior. This is someone at this current point. What it is someone trying to convince you they're savior with some forward facing stuff, while in reality you're getting fucked. Maybe not quite as badly fucked as the alternative, but you're still getting fucked. And, as I said, when we talked about that $100 billion thing, it's okay, I was well, to be fair, I brought up it's that Doge has only gotten 60 billion so far. But then I said, but on the flip side, if you're trying to be oh, well, because I felt like that's going to be the cope at that time from MAGA people would be okay, well, that's just one bill, okay, cool. There will be more Doge savings to come. It's okay, but there will be more spending to come. And here we are. There is more spending to come. So, yeah, whatever savings we have gotten from Doge looks like it's going to be incomparable to the spending that we're going to increase. And this is the trend so far between this and the military bill or military budget. I don't see it getting better. I see it getting worse. I don't know, unless we just really get unless we start getting some white marches in the streets, about this fucking Epstein stuff. Maybe they'll start getting picking up their butthole and start trying to do some other stuff. Being oh, okay, well, maybe we are serious about cuts. So, I mean, I don't know. So let's go through the chat, see what you guys have to say. Vance is gay, says Julian. I think so, too. Vance definitely turned Catholic to suck up a bishop. JMS says pretentious. Virtue signaling. The narrative is Ukraine is fighting Putin to save the world. Exactly. JMS says he's Captain Cokehead and doesn't need to apologize unless it's to get money. Mike says I can easily spot someone who's either on opiates or amphetamines because I did them for so long. See, man, yeah, it's it's a sixth sense you develop when you do drugs. So that's why you should do drugs, kids. Just a couple times, just so you can get that extra little. Although I don't think the couple times would actually cut it. No, you need to develop a strong dependency over the course of a year or so, and then cut it back. It'll be awful for that period of time in your life, but it'll pay off in the end. You'll be really good at I don't know, maybe investigating people. I don't know. In wartime, amphetamine is mandatory. Doc Tory says, I'm pretty sure Elon is the only guy in Trump's circle that really understands how bad the debt problem is. Perhaps. I definitely have seen videos. I definitely am not super trusting of Trump, or not of Trump, but of Elon. I do kind of get the impression he seems to does seem to think that. I mean, he is the one that I think it was on Clint's show. I forget where. I believe Elon did respond to some of these complaints. I want to say maybe it might even have been that Justin Amash tweet. I'm not sure, but I believe he even kind of put out some words, essentially to the contrary, but like not being happy about whether it was the military budget or this. I'm not sure which. He's not too happy. So Lex says it's girl math. I saved, so now I can treat myself by buying something. Exactly. Grug says, is Pam Bondi still radio silent? We're about to get into that. I haven't seen anything from Pam Bondi. I mean, maybe she posted something this morning. I checked last night because before I put out my tweet, talking shit about Bondi, I was like, I'll give her a chance. Oh, look, who knows? Maybe I missed and they dropped some stuff because we did talk about yesterday and like the day prior. What is today? Today's Saturday, so Friday. So Thursday is when they were like, oh, we're dropping the Epstein files. And then that's when we got that dog and pony show that was a credible slap in the face to the American people. Even got rickrolled by the GOP on Twitter. And then Pam came out with this letter, kind of being like, oh, I asked Kash Patel for X, Y, and Z, and I only got 200 pages of documents, and they told me this is all they had, and I thought, and so I'm just being bamboozled here, which is completely fucking unbelievable. First off, then you still went through and made you made the show of it. So you went ahead knowing there was nothing in here, which is even worse than nothing in there. We'll get into it, but I haven't seen anything on that from her yet. So we'll get into that. Because she said it was supposed to be yesterday at 8 a.m. was I believe the cutoff by which the FBI and the New York department or something was supposed to get her the supposed thousands of documents they had. And she put in a very strongly worded letter. And you know what? That strongly worded letter, I haven't seen any follow up on that strongly worded letter. So, barring Pam Bondi coming back with like literal scalps of fucking like FBI people, she needs to get the fuck out. That's my opinion. So, because I mean, yeah, it was yesterday at 8. We haven't heard anything. Essentially, it should if you're trying to CYA cover your ass, if you didn't hear shit from anybody at 8 o'clock yesterday, there should have been literal heads rolling. Like there should be charges. Like I mean, I guess literal. I'm being a little bit silly, but almost not entirely. Like there should be these people should be getting pushed with maybe at least getting. I don't know if you would stick being threatened with treason or sedition, or I don't fucking know. But you need to be thrown like the full weight of the law against them and being like that way. It's like. And even then, not like just fucking what are clearly sacrificial. Like you're at a point where you need to convince us. Because I'm sorry, this whole like, oh, the FBI has it. They're withholding it, and we're just clueless here. Despite the fact we have this like cabal of fucking Zionists, even down to the influences through which we're dispersing this fucking information from, and this is a fucking Mossad op. But I somehow just didn't know, despite being fucking an attorney general for like ever, and fucking even being in fucking Florida, an attorney general during the sweetheart deal. But I just didn't know that 200 documents and it was not even a fucking fraction of clearly the documents that are out there, and that the information in there was nothing new. If anything, it was actually worse. It withheld information that was already out there. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a fucking second. So yeah, and then Greg says I can't tell if the Rickroll is them making fun of the show. I think it was. If I'll give them benefit of the doubt, I think it was them trying to make fun of the show. But I think fuck them still. That was a complete misread of the situation and not cool. Like it shouldn't be like a haha. That should be. Especially since it's coming from the GOP side of the aisle, because this is your people. Like, I mean, you guys play this partisan game, like, so this is your people, and you're being like, you guys got rickrolled, and they're like, yeah, but you guys rickrolled us. This is your team, and you guys are all about team players. The team game, this is your team. So, yeah. I don't know. It's KGB brainwashing. The left hand is no media, progressive flavor. 1 spending. The right hand is total media, progressive flavor. 2 spending. Yes. All right, let's get into some Epstein stuff. I just wanted to do a little side tangent just for my buddy Top. I just thought this was funny, or I guess not. This was good on a couple levels. There is a slight humor to this. I think on a recent episode I was joking about or something, kind of the idea of these individuals that go, oh, breaking, and then like it's something from like forever ago. This is an exact example. Here's my buddy Top saying I discovered what was common knowledge. It was been common knowledge for like 8 years. So we're going to cover this, but at the same time, do not take this troll, this fucking goon with any level of seriousness. This is Dom Lucra. He is a joke. Do not take him seriously. This is what he does. He takes old shit and puts breaking, exclusive. and a whole bunch of nothing burgers. That's all he does. Yes, like this is, I'm surprised this motherfucker isn't one of the people that they gave the information from. This is basically this. When I see these other people, this is basically kind of what I see. This, but anyways, I mean, either way, this is a story worth reminding you guys of, because I just think it's worthwhile, because I mean, this is the people that it looks like our current administration is covering for. So I'm not going to say exclusive here, but it does say exclusive just because that's gay. But he says, I discovered that from August 15th, 2009 to 2018, you discovered, yeah, it's been out there for a while. Disney was sending kids to Jeffrey Epstein's island for snorkeling trips. The Disney cruise ship stopped at Little St. James Island for day trips for years, despite Epstein's history of pedophilia. Here are several sources that verify Disney took children to Jeffrey Epstein's island for snorkeling trips. All these sources were created years before Epstein ever went viral. What would they gain for lying about an island nobody knew? A picture of Epstein with Piglet was taken at the Magical Kingdom restaurant in Disney World. So here you can see, I don't know why he mentioned a thing about Piglet since he didn't even show it, but here you go. You see Disney Cruise Line, St. Thomas and St. John excursions. And here you can see Splash Tackler and Family Adventures and Nature Adventures. 3.5 hours for $80. It's for $75 per adult. It says, be whisked away aboard the captain's RIB powerboat to a pair of sun-soaked snorkeling sites and prepare for an adventure like no other. Journey to picturesque Turtle Cove, Buck Island, and immerse yourself in an underwater wonderland. Whether you're invited to swim and snorkel amidst a school of sea turtles for approximately 1 hour. Oh, it was where, not whether. Afterward, make your way to your second snorkel stop, Little St. James Island, where curious fish dart back and forth in the clear blue water and colorful coral formations nestle next to amazing underwater formations. Afterward, enjoy a beverage and snack before making your way back to St. Thomas Harbor. So yeah, I thought that was worthwhile mentioning in this thing. Dr. Tori says apparently Pam Bondi was the inspiration for Legally Blonde. So my wife says that's perfect. I don't even think about it. Every time she talks, I'm just like, she seems so fucking stupid. I mean, it's one of those things, like, she could be really smart. I don't know. It's something about something you hear and you just hear it. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like what I was saying. With Vance before, where it was like I was joking that he's like gay, but it's like I just kind of hear it. It's just something about the mannerisms, the hearing. It's the same thing with Pam Bondi. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe that's just some affectation of her. She just has a retarded affectation. That's it. But yeah, you hear her talk and her mannerisms, and you're like, she just seems really fucking stupid. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm entirely wrong. But I mean, she has been in the government her entire life, so I mean, it's par for the course. So yeah, which I think it was my buddy Tyler who actually brought up yesterday that, like, between her and Cash, these are creations of the government. They have been in government. They were government employees their entire life. They've done nothing in the private sector. So, I mean, we're told that, these are impressive people and they're out for justice. Are they? Or are they not products of the government? I think whether you want to say they're evil or lazy or retarded or whatever, I mean, these are all, the way the government's incentives work and what they create. And that's them. Hola. What's up, Tyler? That's the guy I was just talking about. There you go. All right, let's get into the next one. Here more on I just kind of wanted to remind you a little bit, just kind of why these people suck. Here's Epstein Bodyguard. It says Epstein sent him to CIA headquarters for a special week-long training session with a bunch of spooks while Epstein was in pretend jail for child prostitution, which, for those who recall, as I referenced the sweetheart deal a while back, which I believe Pam Bondi at that time was the attorney general in Hillsborough County, and I don't think this happened in Hillsborough County. I want to say it was like Dade or something, so to be fair, she probably wouldn't be in the know, but at the very least, like, she's in the, like, roughly, she's in the state that it happened, so maybe you would think maybe she heard something, but even then, like, she's someone who is an attorney general in her position, and she's been a DOJ person for, like, ever. You would think she would have the wherewithal to be able to go through the Epstein documents and be able to tell if this is new information or not. And also, like, I really also think she should be able to look at the previous cases. I would just assume, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, that giving her background, you would think she would have the knowledge to be able to tell that, like, one, there's nothing new in here, and two, there should be way more. Like, I feel like, I don't know specifically how, like, the ins and outs, the minutia of legal proceedings, but I would think you'd be able to look at, like, I don't know, there's some way you could track documents somehow and go, oh, there should be way more than this. No, just 200 despite supposedly thousands. But anyways, let's keep going. So let's read this. So this reminds me of this Booty was quote tweeting this. It's from BWP. That just reminded me of this wild Epstein/Israel story where Brad Edwards' book is told by Epstein's former personal bodyguard, Igor Zinoviev. So let's read this. Actually, fuck that. No, actually, I'll read the highlighted portion because I'm like, this is way too long. So from an excerpt from this, he went on to tell me that when Epstein was in jail, he still had extraordinary power, even within our own government. This bodyguard was sent by Epstein to Virginia to CIA headquarters. Nervously telling me the story, he said, I didn't know why I was there, but he told me that they would take care of me. I attended a class for a week. At the beginning of the class, everyone had to introduce themselves. So Epstein, per this book, according to this bodyguard, he was sent to CIA headquarters by Epstein. So let that sink in for. All right, you let it sink in. There you go. Just give me a second to drink my drink. Anyways. All right, actually, you'll read this as well. Let me see if there's anything in the other one. Okay, well, actually, I'll read all these highlighted portions. So there were 45 people. 44 people were in the CIA or some other government unit with top secret clearance. I was the only private citizen. Everyone introduced themselves, and the instructor saved me for last. He did not let me introduce myself. Instead, he just introduced me as what he called a special operative. He explained that he then attended the classes for the week before he was given a book with a personalized note and told to deliver it to Jeffrey. He took the book to Jeffrey's seldom occupied county jail cell and delivered it without reading the contents of the note. And we'll read more of the highlighted portion. He told me, for instance, about a prince or a sultan, he didn't recall which, whom they would meet all over the world. Epstein also often met with Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. We are not getting disclosure. Barring J6 times 1,000, you ain't getting shit. Barak frequently visited Epstein in New York as well, and on extended stays took residence at Epstein's 301 East 66th Street apartments. In fact, not long before my meetings with the bodyguard, Alan Dershowitz. Now, I will say, I could almost see somebody, a character like Alan, which that would almost be sweet enough for me to be like, okay, you gave me something. But I could almost see that. But I don't know. Even then, I just feel like he probably has too much. Even he's probably untouchable, Alan. But because I say you ain't getting shit. I wouldn't be. I feel like maybe they might get strong armed into something, and even then, it's going to become like oh, look what the Democrats did, or it's going to somehow become this stupid left right thing, or we're going to get kind of something kind of like the original Epstein thing, where we're just like, oh, well, look I think the guards got some sort of legal charges or something, and you're like, well, look, but the guards, those guys, they're to blame. Like it's kind of that thing. Dershowitz had confirmed Epstein's close relationship with Barak. Dershowitz testified that during his personal, non-privileged conversations with Epstein, he and Jeffrey discussed the Middle East. Dershowitz further described an in-person discussion that he had observed between Barak and Epstein at Epstein's New York townhouse, wherein the two were drawing up resolutions to Middle East conflict on a blackboard. It was clear that Epstein was exactly as powerful as we always thought he was. But there was this air of mystery surrounding his connections to international dignitaries like Barak that always begged the question of who Epstein really was. So the two were drawing up resolutions to Middle East conflict with Barak. Man, so he was literally like with Barak talking shop about like, well, we should do X, Y, and Z. All right. Before we split up, there was one more story he shared. On one occasion, after returning to New York just after completing his Florida jail sentence, quote unquote, Epstein yelled at his bodyguard that they needed to leave in a hurry. It was clear to him that whatever the reason, it was important and Jeffrey was pissed. Even to his professional bodyguard, when Jeffrey was pissed, he was scary. On that occasion, Jeffrey demanded the Suburban be brought around quickly. Jojo, the driver, also understood this as an emergency in Jeffrey's world. Jeffrey didn't talk during the car ride from the mansion to the Wall Street office of a major league hedge fund manager whom the bodyguard couldn't identify. They got to the office building, and Epstein got out of the car with purpose, walking briskly to the front door of the high tower. His bodyguard was trying to keep up. They headed to the elevator, and Epstein didn't stop to tell the front desk that he had arrived. When he got up to the floor of the hedge fund, Epstein, still on a mission, walked straight toward the back of the office complex to what his bodyguard referred to as the president's office. Epstein opened the door without knocking and barged in. He walked to the chair side of the desk and leaned over to the... fucking A. Give me a second. All right. There we go. To the president and said, you need to get that money from Israel immediately, like fucking yesterday. You need to get that money to Israel immediately, like fucking yesterday. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. So he's fucking shaking down presidents of big hedge funds about getting money to Israel. As the story was relayed to me, the man on the receiving end of Epstein's demand was shaking. This man was another Wall Street billionaire who made his own rules. With his voice quivering, he responded to Epstein saying, I wired $30 million today. It's already there. You can check. Without a word to him, Epstein turned around and walked out, leaving the building the same way he'd come in. Man, that's some gangster shit. And I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm starting to think maybe I should like revisit Epstein stuff, because this is one I never really did deep dive in. I think this might tie in quite a bit to me and Austin's little thesis for our tinfoil hat episode we're doing this coming week, which we've been talking about for a while. It's kind of like the thesis of, we always come back to, like the idea that this all comes back to Gladio. I mean, if you guys recall during the Epstein stuff, how many people died? I mean, if you think about the way this guy's clicked in, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, maybe not Gladio per se, but it's like there's clearly like I think there's kill squads, assassins, something this guy's tapped into, because there were a lot of people that died, himself included. So, I don't know, interesting stuff. But let's check in with you guys, see what you have to say. Let me see. She probably even smells dumb on Pam Bondi. Hillsborough County sus as shit. He was made to sleep on cotton sheets. How can you call that a sweetheart deal? Yeah, he had to sleep on them sometimes, I guess. Yeah. Let me see. He was made to sleep on Mike Lindell's Gaza sheets. What the fuck? Yeah, we will get a full detailed report of USS Liberty before any real substances at Epstein. That's 100% true. Yep. I think Bebstein was a bagman for Ghislaine, like a front octopus type shit. Yeah, I think so too. I don't think he was. I think Ghislaine played more of a part, which, if anything, I think that might be kind of why she's still alive, is that she was a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more tapped into the higher levels than Epstein was, where he was just more of like a front guy personally. So yeah, wild shit. All right, let's get into the next story. Let's get into starting making fun of some of these influencers. This is from Doctori420. The homie said, I'm not sure if you're gonna want to cover this or not. I'll give a little retweet real quick. Let's play this from Timcast News. Let me see, when did this got put out? February 20th. So yesterday, Cernovich explains how he received the Epstein files and why he couldn't say anything about it. Now, I will say, I don't know if this is current. Maybe we'll reference it. Maybe he'll say something about it in this. It'll give us a tip if it's current or not, because I'm not sure. Maybe because, I mean, this is a Timcast thing. That could have been an old interview that they just were like, oh yeah, we talked about this before. So let's see here. Well, he's saying he received the Epstein files, so no, this has got to be current. So let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear his cope. I know Tyler did a good job on his show yesterday breaking down Liz Wheeler's cope, which made her even more despicable, honestly, after watching it. Let's see if we feel the same way about this penis sucking, what it fucking, I don't even know what else to call him. I mean, that's enough. Journo. So yeah, the only one of the group that I would probably, of this group, that I would say is actually a journo, but still a despicable one at that. But let's go ahead and play.
Say who, but you could guess who, because again, it's on background, which means I can't say who the person was, but we get the big box of stuff comes in. Binders, Epstein files, right? Like, oh, that's interesting. They brief us and they go, hey, don't overhype this. Here's what's going on. We thought we had all the files we needed.
Okay, already fucking bullshit. Like, how does none of you have a skeptical bone in your body that goes, that's not believable. I'm going to need you to explain that to me. This is bullshit. You've been working in the government for however long. How did you not know? Like, explain to me. And now you're bringing me in here. Like, fuck that. I don't know. These people are shit fucking, like, they're trying to masquerade as journalists, and they are nothing fucking close to it. They have fucking little pea-sized fucking balls. They are, I don't know, this is fucking gay. All right, let's keep going.
But we found out that there's been stonewalling and destruction of evidence, and Anna Paulina has said this publicly, and this was a different person who told us. So here's a letter to Kash Patel. The story is the letter. The files were giving you.
This is horseshit. This is cope. This is cope. Oh, the story is the letter. Oh, and you guys are just gonna let it. No one thought about how this looks. Like, oh, we're going to have this, like, oh, we're getting them tomorrow. And so the idea here is, and I've seen this thrown around. I think Liz. It's kind of these speculations that like this is almost like a you could almost say like false flag PR thing. Like we're expecting the reaction. The idea being we're going to make them scared, or we're going to throw this out there, make a big public show of it, knowing the American people that then we can go, oh, they didn't give us our files, and we go, oh my God, like it's just. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. This is fucking stupid. This is a really stupid way to unroll it. Like even if this is true, because I could almost buy the idea that the White House is like, we're going to do this to really put the pressure on them because we made a public show of it. But on the flip side, like, how do you not, as the influencer or journalist or whatever, realize that like, well, this makes me look really fucking bad because all I am is a figurehead here. That's all I am, and I'm doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing except for. What are you doing? You're there to receive information that's already been received. They're doing nothing. Like no one felt disrespected by this. But all right, let's keep going.
Because we want to show like, hey, we're doing what we can do. We're doing what we can do. Don't overhype them.
That should have been the thing from the beginning. Instead of the day prior, Pam Bondi should have said, I had intended to release Epstein files for you guys by tomorrow, but we ran into the New York Department, the FBI is obstructing it. We have received word that they are withholding files, or even let's say we buy the narrative that like even at that point somehow she didn't know that they were withholding files, and let's just say she should have known that there weren't enough files and that there was nothing new. She could go, currently I have requested from the FBI all their files, and what I have on my desk right now is nothing but information we already know about, and it's far less documents than I would have expected given the nature of this investigation. And I am displeased, and we are going to get to the bottom of it. That would have been the move. That would have been the move from that moment. Like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this makes me irate. Like, I'm genuinely kind of getting upset that this is the game they're playing. Because even if I am to buy your case, this makes you a bitch. This makes you a useless fucking idiot.
Downplay expectations, but the letter was the big story. Embargo's till 3. Okay, great. So we have our meetings. They go into
Useful idiot, but I guess useless for me. I said it wrong. Go on.
the Oval Office. Everybody's like super hyped up now because Trump's in there. You know, if anybody wants any of that information, I can.
God, they did that too. This is what Liz Wheeler did too, which I fucking. I feel like maybe just normal, like I say normal people, like I hover above you all. That's not what I mean. Normal people, I think kind of like Liz in her thing was like, oh, it was just like we were just blown away because here I am with the president. And it's like, oh my God, butterflies in my stomach, and oh, I'm just so impressed by, oh my God, fucking political figures, which like, okay. Sure. I mean, any one of you guys can go watch my first interview with Dave Smith, where we broke down Anatomy of the State by Murray Rothbard. One of my most viewed things. You can tell I'm fanboying, and but you know what? Once you've done this thing for a while, I'm past 450 episodes at this point. Like, I've had enough big names on to where like. I become more and more dead to it. I mean, every now and then I'll have like a biggish name that I get a little bit of butterflies or some sort of topic or something. Like, oh, I'm a little nervous. But like, the more you do this, the more you're like, no. And like, I'm to expect that these people, their level, like Liz Wheeler has 1 million followers, and I'm sure she's interviewed many politicians, many high profile figures, and we're to expect that, oh no, you get to the White House and your guard just completely drops because you're a giddy little schoolgirl. Fuck you. Get a new job. Then like you're apparently not cut out for it. Like this is pathetic. I mean, I get it. Like I understand somewhat if you're someone who hasn't done this, you haven't. Like, if you're just somebody, if they just got fucking Joe Schmo off the street and they're like, guess what? We're trying to get salt of the earth people and get them to interview political figures and stuff. We thought it'd be a cool deal. I get it. I totally get that. If they brought just a bunch of normal people, some normal MAGA folks, and brought them to of course they're gonna be fucking just falling over themselves to fucking say how great the administration is. But these are people who have made names for themselves, have been around enough, and these people, and every single one of them after the fact is still tweeting around like, oh, most transparent administration we've ever seen. Oh, how great is the Trump administration? Oh, no. Just fucking just over and over and over again. It's fucking pathetic. It's sad. Like, you're adults. Grow the fuck up.
I can talk about all that, but everybody's super like wound up. And we leave the Oval Office after taking our pictures and getting our coins and our markers and everything. And then here's a marker. I'll show you. They're pretty cool. The ASMR executive pin marker for signing the.
Yeah, I've got one of those from Trump 1.0.
Yeah.
They're floating around
squeaky, right?
The marker,
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's like wound up. And then the UK people needed the room that we were in the West Wing. So they're like, sorry, guys, we got to leave. We're going to go up to the other room in the Eisenhower building. It's actually the interview room where J.D. Vance had his I don't really care Margaret moment. So we're walking down from the West Wing, and then I felt like I was walking into a firing squad because I don't like people to know that what I do, because then all people do is bloodsuck. Oh, Cerno. Oh, how do I meet Trump? Oh, and then they get jealousy, like, well, why are you there and not...
This is okay too. And then now he's obviously planting the seed. He's planting the narrative seed that there are these jealous people out here. I am not jealous. I've said many times that the caliber of people I want in here. I shouldn't be in here. I shouldn't be in there. I don't fit the category of anyone who would make sense. And nor do I even have like the sort of influence that would even merit it. I don't even want to do it. I don't want to fucking hobnob with these fucking losers. I don't. I do know. I guess maybe sure if I got offered it, maybe I would, just because it's like that would obviously be amazing for the show. But aside from that, nah. Like I don't have real no fucking desire for this. Like no jealousy. And I think honestly, a lot of people I've seen out there. I mean, there are some jealousy. We see the Loomers and stuff in the world clearly being catty, jealous. But yeah, all right, let's keep going. It's just he's clearly planting that seed. Oh, there's these jealous influencers out here. But
all it does is causes me problems. So everybody who actually knows me knows that I'm always like, look, I'm irrelevant. I'm a loser. Don't text me. Lose my number. I can't do anything because I don't want people to know because it's just manipulative. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and then some people turned over because they go, what are you holding? So everybody's just kind of like, well, here's what it's like a natural reaction. And if you see the one picture, I was like trying to hide my face. My eyes were like, it's like, where's Waldo? And
I will give Cerno credit for that. In those like photos, he did seem to be like, nah, I will give him the tiniest bit of credit. I don't know. Maybe he just maybe there was a tiny little opponent part in him that was like, I probably should feel shame here. But as somebody just pointed out, his fucking... Who was it? What Think Change Repeat point out his Cerno's Alan Dershowitz connection. So I think we're going to get into here a little bit in a second. I'm going longer than I meant to, but I think I'll have at least one on that. But I should be able to squeeze that in before we get out of here. But yes, I think this guy may have felt a little bit of shame and knew better to at least shut the fuck up. But I have while I've said on the show many times I don't like to Fed jacket, Cerno is one of those characters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he is one, but boy does he glow. And boy did he not also write an article completely admitting to sucking off a tranny. What did this guy do that he was not willing to admit? I don't know. So... I mean, I guess the flip side of that could be like, this is a guy that's even willing to admit he sucks off trannies, so maybe he's blackmail free. I don't know. I think once you get to that level, you're, and writing about it, Jesus Christ, dude. By the way, go look it up. That is a thing. That is 100% a thing. He sucked off a tranny and wrote an article about it, which is insane to do. Just, I don't know how anyone could ever let that go. Like, how do you ever take anyone seriously that does that? I'm sorry, I can't. So, Amy Robach was a corporate journalist, said we had it all, and the network squashed it, do what they would lose with the interview of the royal family to protect Prince Andrew. Yep. All right, let's keep playing this. But my point being is I don't know, I think he had the wherewithal to feel shame, but I have a feeling that maybe he was in a professional position that limited him from doing any further. So let's keep going.
Then I put it down, and then they're like, "Oh, you smirked. You don't understand the seriousness of the moment." Like, no, I tried to hide my face. The smirk was I was like, I'm caught. I got caught.
Yeah, I mean,
It felt
I will
like
give,
you
if
were
anyone's giving him shit about a smirk, I mean, I don't think anyone really should give him shit about that, the photo op side of things, because all the people throwing him up, acting all hyped. He didn't do that. I will give him the tiniest bit of grace on that. He didn't do that. So I think he had the wherewithal for that. But he still didn't fucking come out. And as far as I'm aware, unless someone says otherwise, unless maybe I'm missing something. I don't recall Cerno or anyone saying anything about Cerno going out and be like, this is a disgrace, XYZ or anything. No, I mean, to be fair, I haven't been paying attention enough to see if he put out any of the filleting tweets about most transparent administration there ever was. Like, so to be fair to him, I'll give him grace in that one. The rest of the influencers are awful about that. I will give him Cerno is a smoother operator than the rest. I'll give him that.
even a brothel, and then it was like your girlfriend was out there, right? You're like, oh man, but you're like, you're leaving a frat party or something. You're like, man, I'm totally caught. And then we had to go up to the room, and we still don't have phones. We don't have our phones.
They took your phones from you?
Yeah. So we didn't have our phones, and then all the people are posting pictures of us.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, man. And then I get my phone back at like 12:45, 12:50, and then I'm tagged in all these pictures. And then they're like, oh, they got the Epstein files. And I'm like, dude, I'm under embargo. I can't.
They keep saying this. Did you sign a fucking contract? I mean, this is, Tyler once again covered this in the show. This is what Liz Wheeler said. We're on an embargo. What does that even fucking mean? You mean, like, I get the context here. You're saying I can't. What does it mean? Like, an embargo. I mean, bear in mind too. I don't think I ever mentioned this in the show. Maybe I did in passing. It was DC Drano, I believe, and Chad Prathers who literally put out word for word the exact same tweet post to like receiving the files or whatever, down to everything, punctuation, everything. So clearly, these are people getting talking points, and I find it odd that both Wheeler and Cerno chose the word embargo. That's not the word. I mean, what an odd word to use here. It gives you this air of like, oh, we were forced to. What do you mean you were forced to? You were fucking grown adults. Did you sign a contract? And even if you did sign a contract, if anything, that's worse. You signed a contract to not say anything? What? What is going on here? Like, no, you are fucking journalists. You are grown adults. You can say, no, I'm going to speak out on this because this is a disgrace, or this is X, Y, and Z because I'm a journalist. You're not going to restrict my speech in this way. I find it ridiculous. Let's keep going.
I can't say that they're nothing, even though I'd been briefed that they were nothing, but that they were trying to get what they had, and the real story was the letter from the AG to Cash. That was the real story. And I'm like, man. So I started DMing people. You know, you guys called, and I was like, guys, it's nothing. Here's the letter. It's under embargo till 3. Trying to manage expectations back scene, and then on the back of the scene, right? And then that all becomes, oh, you're covering up, and why did you guys only get these things, and why didn't we? So for 3 hours, I just had to let people like give me a licking, right? And it was a lot of people. I was surprised. I was like, man, all these years.
None of these people, anyone out here, if you thought any of these people had a shred of credibility before, you should throw it out the window, to be completely frank with you. These are people not to be trusted going forward, and I think people need to remember that. But all right, that's enough. That's all we have on that. I got caught. When would a legit journalist say this? Let me see. Basically, it's a gentleman agreement not to say anything until agreed upon time. Probably would have gotten them kicked out of the new press pool. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. Like, I get that would be the thing, but like, I just fucking grow up. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You were a journalist. I mean, the idea that no one would have the wherewithal to understand, like, this does not look good. Like, how do you not know this? Like, none of this. And even then, okay, sure, maybe you do hold your tongue, but I don't think of this group I've seen a negative word amongst any of them. I mean, and even then they frame it as like, oh man, what a bummer, we had to wait. But it's like kind of completely understandable. I get what they're doing here. Like, no, how can you not see this entire situation and go, this is inappropriate? Like, at the very least, this is inappropriate. Even if this was all just some 8D chess in order to get to put the pressure, to put the pins on fucking the FBI. This is still, you are making a circus of of child rape. Like, everyone thought, like, you put out to the world that, hey, you're going to get the truth on this guy who was, hobnobbing with elites all over the world and raping children. Just kidding. Rickroll. Very funny. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Cerno. All right, let's do one more thing. Get out of here. I've gone way too long. So let's watch this. Actually, I'll show this to you real quick because I thought this is a good example. These influencers are given a redacted version of Epstein's list left, while the unredacted version, right, has been online for years. So here's just one example of they exited. They redacted the addresses of all these people, whereas they've been out before. So literally, they not only was this stuff that was already out, they got less than stuff that was already out. So that's the position. All right, let's play this. But there was another article I want to play. One of you guys shared recently I don't know if it was one of you guys on my Patreon or in a DM or I forget. There was one I bookmarked, but I guess I'll have to say this for tomorrow. There's one on the Trump, his hate crime side of things. So we'll go into that. We'll come back to that tomorrow. But let's watch this real quick. And this is Ryan Mata. Why every influencer received an Epstein binder relentlessly defending Mossad. And here's a picture of Dershowitz. I kept my underwear on during massage at Epstein's mansion, in which he ddid fucking say that. He's like, oh, I got fucking rubbed down, but I kept my underwear on. Okay. And then here's Alan with Mike down here, which I forget. I think, I want to say he was like his lawyer. I want to say Mike had Alan as a lawyer for a while or something. I forget the specific connection to them. You guys can probably correct me in the chat. I do want to later at some point come back. I think maybe we'll cover a thread on the show. I think Keith Woods has out there somewhere on the Mossad connections, so I can lay out for you guys the actual Mossad connections. Although they're kind of obvious, but whatever, we can point them out like here, this, that. So be more specific.
So what I don't like it.
But let's watch this video and then we're gonna get out of here because I'm way over time. I told my wife I'd be out of here like 15 to 30 minutes ago. So, all right, let's go ahead and play this.
So what I don't like is people who are biased, and we all have them. I don't like that I hear people immediately go to the Clintons or Mossad because that's just not sophisticated, first of all.
Oh, it's not sophisticated, guys.
And it's vaguely anti-Semitic.
Oh, it's anti-Semitic.
Mossad. Well, why? If Epstein were with Mossad, he'd be with the FBI too, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yup.
Really think if Jeffrey Epstein was working for Mossad, that our own FBI wouldn't have intercepts of those conversations?
Yeah, I know. I do think that. Yes.
Right. So why'd you just jump? Oh, Mossad. Why'd you just jump there? Why not Civilians Activities Group? Why?
What? It doesn't even make any fucking sense. Civilians Activities Group. Why would you go to the top? Why would you? Hey, if you're following the strings of who did what, why would you try to get to the tippy top? Why wouldn't you go to the tippy top? I don't even know what the civilian whatever the fuck is. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why not? Maybe there's a department in the State Department that monitors this stuff, right?
Because it's clearly being run by Israel. Like, sure, we are aware of it, but like, that's the top dog. Like, because you get to the root of the problem, you stupid fuck.
So why go there? And also Clinton, that's just a cliche. They don't have any power.
They were our former president. Kind of a big deal. You literally just kind of went like, oh, why don't you focus on this and that? Oh, you're just focused on Mossad. Oh, well, no. Oh, why are you focused? It's just, this is such a stupid, well, why, when these are all like obvious answers of why. Like, well, why aren't you focused on this? Because, I don't know, I'm an intelligent human being that tries to focus my attention where it typically matters. I don't know.
Prince Andrew, though, royalty, they have power. So it could be the FBI.
Yeah, and people focus on that, yeah.
And other elements, not the FBI, qua FBI, but elements within it could be. But that's why I just really am disappointed with a lot of people who are taking hokey, hacky, campy conspiracy theories that are...
Hokey, happy... What was I going to say that?
Conspiracy theories that are campy, who are taking hokey, hacky, campy...
My wife's coming. You guys, all right. Yeah, her cat's being annoying, so she had to bring me. Anyways, back to this. I just want to hear
conspiracy theories that are too well tried. Hokey, hacky, campy.
Hokey, happy, campy conspiracy theories. That's what Mossad is. A hokey, happy, campy conspiracy theory. Oh, Mossad. Okay.
Campy conspiracy theories that are too well trodden, well worn. What we're dealing with is unprecedented.
Yeah, right? I agree.
What we're dealing with the Epstein, from the initial charges in 2009 to the civil lawsuit to the criminal charges to you name, everything is unprecedented. So if you're using your same models of thought on Epstein, you're not upgrading.
What does that even mean? oh, because this is so unique, if you're using typical logic, you're doing it wrong. You're just doing it wrong. Fucking idiot.
And that means there's a time where people like me, I don't know. Who did it? I don't know. What happened? I don't know.
That would be fair. Say, I don't know. You haven't looked into it enough. But don't fucking know. Oh, my God, this is so silly. I mean, like, what are you, fucking deaf, blind, dumb, and retarded? Like, and even then, I want to say, this is the guy that supposedly is always bragged about by the, and I don't know to what degree this is true. Don't know. Don't fucking care, to be honest. I mean, I guess I kind of care because it's like, it influences the context of him. But this is a guy that you always hear, like, is thrown out by, like, the you know, kind of ironically the influencer class that we're kind of alluding to here, the Pasobics, the Tim Pools, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the type, you know, the type, the Ashley Sinclairs, the whatever, that influencer one, the fucking losers that are at the fucking White House. These are the people that always go, oh, Cerno's done the most for Epstein stuff. Yeah, I don't fucking know. I don't really know what's going on here. Are you like? It doesn't take much, and you know what? I'm looking forward to maybe tomorrow or sometime this coming week. We will definitely have to find some sort of thread or something to dig into the Mossad connections, because this makes this. I believe once you do that, this gets absolutely ridiculous. Like, well, I don't know, but yet I'm lauded as the person who's looked into this the most and done the most for this case in the country or the world. Yeah, sure thing, fucking Cerno, sure thing.
I don't know. That's okay, because by developing that, well, I don't know, that means I'm open to possibilities rather than just doing some cliched fallback that isn't going to elevate my thinking, your thinking.
I mean, what was the saying? You keep your open mind too much, your head will fall out. Like, I mean, I get it. It is good to keep an open mind, but you also need to follow where logic and evidence leads.
This was a giant blackmail scheme to frame all.
All right, I don't give a fuck what Alex says, Jay. All right, guys, let's get out of here. I had to take a minute to rant, because this really, they just think you're fucking retarded. They think you're fucking stupid. Like, this is like, they're treating America like retarded children, and it's, whew, yeah. Here's Graham say, why wouldn't he smirk? The whole thing is a joke. We have the list. Webb wrote 2 books about who did what. Why do we need daddy government to tell us what happened? Why does it make it real? Yes, we don't even need these Epstein files. I mean, this would be great. I mean, if there were Epstein files actually released, but even that aside, we don't even need this. We need prosecutions. Like, it'd be great if the FBI came out and all these thousands of documents get released, you know, incriminating information, the videos that they clearly probably destroyed, but it's like, but we don't even need that. Just there's plenty of information out there to start prosecutions. There's like Nick Bryant just did a great, like, probably 20-minute episode on his podcast recently about kind of breaking this down, because he's the guy who released the original Black Book on Gawker that ironically Peter Thiel ended up getting rid of later. He used his influence to just destroy Gawker. Weirdly around the time that the Epstein thing got pushed out. So just saying. But yeah, we have enough. There's enough information out there. Like, he breaks it down there, like a lot of the different stuff, and just kind of like they have more than a good start. They have an amazing, like, if you were a investigator, wanting to start a trial or whatever, you have so much. You have such a great start. Like, you have a better start than most of the time than usually most times you do for like cases that would be typically considered harder or whatever. Like, there is so much information out there. There's so much finances. This is beyond a great start. Like, if they really wanted to prove that they were serious, they'd start prosecuting. And the funny thing is that would actually probably be easier for them to play this theater game and like hide the truth of Mossad and such from us if they did this, because it would be all in the courts and they can play their court games, and then they don't have to play this silly disclosure game where they go play this theater and try to hide it from us. It can be far more. They would actually be able to do that better in the court system, and then we could actually get. And while I would prefer the people at the top get busted, at least somebody gets prosecuted in this situation. There are some people that get prosecuted. I'm sure they will deflect from the Mossad and, like, certain high up players, but like, that's something. Like, just start prosecuting. That's all. Just start prosecuting. That's it. All right. Here's Tyler saying, thanks for this. Not sure why this event gets me worked up. Yeah, exactly. Civil military operations involve activities that establish and maintain relations between military forces and civilian organizations and the populace to facilitate military operations. Okay, so that's what he was talking about. We should look at that. This is stupid. I don't know why that would be like, oh, let's look at that instead. I mean, sure, maybe there's some component why that, but the idea that that should matter more than fucking Mossad in relation to Epstein or even Clinton, like, fucking get out of here. Let me see. Building a straw man out of gasoline is quite impressive. I don't know. Our greatest allies, drooling Wojak. Some theories are well worn because they're obviously true. Exactly. Good point. He's talking about one of the shadow groups being fed in private. Okay, well, fair. I'll give it to him. It's a little bit more. It's a little more juicy, a little more something. But still, the idea that I'm like, oh, this should take the focus as opposed to Mossad or okay, sure. I mean, I don't think so. So let me see. The I don't know does a lot of work to hide the truth here. Yeah, for real. And you're trying to play it off like, and you guys know how I cover stuff. I mean, once again, reference Tyler. They just ran on his show yesterday about how, and this is actually the thing I get a lot of shit for sometimes. For like I've gone it from even I've seen it in comments from audience when I go in conspiracy theories. I've seen it from top where people complain like, why don't you just tell us what happened? Because that's not how fucking things work, you fucking idiots. Like, how it works is, here's this source, that source, this, and this is how we know X, Y, and Z, or this is the degree of certitude for which I have for A, B, and C. Like, that's how you do it. And so, like, I get where he's coming from, sort of. You know, I don't know, but he could at least be like, we have this, and this. But there also becomes a certain level of, like, you have this, where you're like, I feel like I can fairly say with a fairly high degree of certitude that I think it's likely that Mossad was involved. So, yeah. It's not, I don't know, it's I don't want to know. Exactly. I'm a retard and I still know Israel is a terrorist state. Exactly. Retard solidarity, buddy. All right, guys, let's get out of here. I've ranted far too long. I just had to get this out of my system, and I couldn't let this wait another day. So I do want to remind you guys, though, if you want to support what I'm doing, if you don't want to give me any money, I understand, times are tight. I saw somebody give a super chat the other day and said something like, oh man, I'm behind on my payments and this and that. I'm like, don't give us money then. Like, don't do that. If you are having a hard time in your life, and trust me, I totally get it. I mean, I left active duty military a few years ago. Things have still been tight since then. You guys have helped a ton, and I thank you so much for it. And hopefully, and I think we'll continue to do so. But if you are someone out there and you're having trouble, please don't give me money. Please don't. If you're having trouble. I mean, obviously I could joke and say, give me all your money, but no, in all seriousness, I want you guys to do well. I want you guys to prosper. If you guys are having a hard time in your lives, don't give me money. Please don't. But but if you're in a place in your life where you can afford $2 or more, sure, why not? But if you are having trouble, like financial troubles, please don't give me money. But I will say there's plenty of things you can do to support the show without giving money. You can you can share, like that goes a lot. Share it to your friends, share it on social media. You can subscribe. You can leave a 5-star review on like Apple, Spotify, pretty much all the podcatchers. I think you can do that. So, do stuff like that. Don't give me money if you can't afford it, but if you can afford it, I would appreciate it. I mean, I'm not going to complain. You can go to patreon.com/nowayjose2020. The lowest level is $2, so it's really not even that much either. But I mean, hell, if you're living tight, I don't want me in any way to infringe on your situation. So, if you want to, at the $2 level though, you get access to early episodes. For example, you guys just saw my Oklahoma City bombing episode dropped yesterday. With Jonathan Franklin and Richard Booth. That had been behind the paywall for like a week. I still have a True Detective Season 1 breakdown or analysis that's behind the paywall. That'll drop on Friday. So I'm trying to get to where I keep 2 or more behind the paywall. I'm going to start probably releasing 2 to the public as well a week going forward. So, I mean, working up to it. Also... you get the early access, or I said the early access. You also get the ad-free RSS feed, and you'll be a talking head on Already Dead, which is me and Austin's weekly live call-in show on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. But also the highest levels, my sponsors, I'll read them off every episode. My co-host and Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad, also have at Abrigades, at ZORVRECK, at _Infinite Zeal, Tim Tuttle, at Jolly on Klebold. Then Will Bell has delicious blueberry rabbit eye wine. Then big fan of the show, Torn May, and then at INWARD Lover. That's patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. You can also follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. That's where you can make suggestions for the show. I feel like I'm really good at being receptive to you guys and putting on stories you guys want to read. So I mean, it's really only a handful of you guys who provide them. So hey, get in on the mix, and I'll start sharing you guys' stuff. So. But yeah, also do want to remind you guys can leave Rumble rants on my Rumble. I am demonetized on YouTube. Austin's not, so you can leave super chats on Austin's channel. On my channel, you cannot, but on Rumble, you can give me Rumble rants. But with that, guys, we're out of here. Love you all. Deuces.